After years of planning and work and tens of thousands of dollars, my little UP GTI project is finally finished. It's the first and only one in the world, and I honestly believe that these little cars are so good and I love them so much that I want to share that love with you. And the way that I worked out I could do that was by buying you one. So I've got another UP right here. This one here I found for sale. It's got some awesome, tasty little modifications, and I'm going to be giving it to one of you. So if you click the link up there or down below and get yourself a Get Up pack, you're getting some merch as well, and you'll also be going in for your chance to win this car. All of the details are on the website, but I'm really, really excited to see one of you end up in one of these little mad cars as well. But if you're overseas, don't worry, you're going to be getting something very, very special, a one-off piece of signed merch, which I'm just going to say is priceless, plus $500 of Mighty Car Mods merch as well. So all the info you need is on the link below. Check it out. Now let's dive into this episode because it's going to be massive. We're doing intakes, turbo inlet pipe. We're going to the dyno. We're going to throw that on the dyno. We're going to throw that one on the dyno. Plus we're doing a performance tune, and at the very end, we'll see how much money was spent, how much power we made, and work out if it was all really worth it. Run the graphics. This is going to be epic. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. I'm so excited today because finally we're going to throw this thing on the dyno. We're going to see just how much power it makes. Plus, it's going to get a tune to make even more power. But before we do that, a couple of little spicy things that are going on. This is a RacingLine intake supplied by Harding Performance. That there is going to make sure we've got all the air we need, and most importantly, all the mad noises that we need. And while that's off, I'm also going to install a little turbo inlet elbow like this. Now that, oh far out, that's so small. This here is an excellent modification on the inline 5-cylinder engine on the RS3. We made a video about that a little while ago. Quite difficult to actually access that. This here looks like all of it can be done just from above. That said, I've never done it, so you're going to find out when I find out. So we're going to install the intake, install the elbow, go to the dyno, get a tune. One of you is going to get given a Volkswagen up. Then we're going to drive home, make some mad turbo noises. And that is what we've got in store for the day. So start the music. Let's do some mods. This aluminium turbo inlet elbow from RacingLine increases the airflow into the turbo, offering better response and power gains. Now these can be run with the standard airbox, or in our case, we're going to be matching it with a proper intake system. This is a race bred intake, which should bring us some decent gains and some proper turbo noises. The first step is to jack up a goat and then remove the factory airbox, which sits nice and hot on top of the engine. With that gone, I'm going to lose my GTI wrecker riding, which I've actually become quite fond of since this engine arrived from the UK. Next up, the silicone can come off the factory elbow, and then using tools and fingers that defy logic and size, remove the factory stuff and throw it in the bin. If you are a mechanic that works on small cars for a living, like K-cars, minis and tiny city cars, then I want to take a second to salute you with my bleeding fingers. You can see the complexity of the factory turbo inlet elbow, just how much stuff is going on there, and the actual air that is going through there, you can see kind of goes through a bit of a valve, because believe it or not, the idea of that is to try and make everything as quiet as possible. Now, if you compare that structure with this, that is just a simple pipe with a bend in it. The idea, of course, is that more air direct to the turbo. This can be run with a factory airbox, and there are a couple of different options depending on what year UP GTI you have, but I'm actually going to be installing that and then doing an intake as well for the maximum noises. But right now, that there can go directly in the bin. F you. The new turbo inlet pipe has a locator pin on the bottom of it, making it easy to install. If you're worried about losing a bolt in your engine bay, or even worse, one of those little screws in your interior, a really good tip is just to get a little bit of tape, put that around there like that to hold it on. That means it's kind of, when you're searching around, you're not going to lose it, and then when you're finished, you can just pull that out and remove the tape. A turbo inlet pipe or a turbo elbow is a decent modification even if the rest of your system is basically stock, and using this silicone, you can adapt it to the factory intake. In fact, many people do run a stock intake with just this turbo elbow. Now, I don't actually need to use this silicone, but I don't know that yet, but I'm about to find out in 3, 2, 1. So it turns out you don't actually need that silicon adapter because that is for running that aftermarket turbo inlet pipe with your factory airbox. What we're actually going to be using is this piece here. So that there is going to go into the new turbo inlet pipe. This one here is going into our intake, which I basically just dummied up here like that. And what I really like about these pipes, and you see this sometimes, is inside there's a little ridge, and that means you know exactly when that is seated properly. So you know sometimes if you're doing like custom intercooler kits and stuff, you leave it all loose and then you try and get it right. We're still going to leave it loose, but at least we'll know how far this has to go to actually be installed properly. So going to put that on, keep everything loose until the end, and then people, mad turbo noises incoming, especially with a tune. Can you imagine? Well, you don't need to imagine. We're going to be seeing it and hearing it this episode.
The rest of this install is simple and pretty straightforward. Get all of your parts together, then install them on the car, but leave it all loose until the end so you can tighten everything up once you know that it all fits properly. I think a huge part of having a turbo car that's modified is actually being able to hear the turbo, and with a tune that brings even more boost, that means even more epic turbo noises. And after all of the time, money and effort that's gone into this GTI conversion, hearing that tiny turbo sneeze will be a big achievement. Or should I say, a sneezement. Sorry, I had to do it. And that's it, all done, and I reckon it looks great.
All right, people, so there it is, a simple little install. It probably took about 40 minutes, but I reckon if you've done it once before, like with everything, it'll be way quicker the next time. It did fight a little bit though. One of those clamps absolutely smashed my finger, the factory clamp. So we've got a little inlet pipe down here. All of this is bigger, all of it's smoother. Got our filter here, all enclosed, little intake there. We are going to the dyno, people, but before we leave, let's have a little listen. I'm excited. Hopefully we're getting turbo noises. If you're not getting turbo noises, why have you got a turbo car? Why? Well, for the performance and drivability, I know, but the noise is an added benefit. All right, let's give it a little go and see if we're hearing some noises, people. Sounds great. Oh, it's like such a tiny little turbo noise. Listen to it, listen how cute it is. So we're heading down to the dyno now and we're going to do a couple of different power runs. We're going to do this car, basically the stock car with those inlet mods. Then we're going to do a stage 1 and see what we get in terms of our power. And we're also going to bring another Volkswagen up down that is totally stock. It's what this car used to be. And then after I've got the power figure from that, have a guess what I'm doing with that one. Because it's so freaking awesome and I found it and had to buy it immediately. That's right, I'm giving it to you. One of you's gonna get it. I don't know which one of you yet, but someone's gonna get it.
The car drives great and it looks awesome on these lowered springs that I installed when the car wasn't even turbo yet. I'm really hoping though for some decent power gains compared to the stock naturally aspirated car. We can talk about emotion and the journey all day, but if I only end up with a 10 or 20% gain, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow. I've brought the car down to Eruowerke in Castle Hill, who are letting us use their dyno for the day. They're a great bunch of people and everyone's keen to see what this little car can do on the dyno. We're starting with the naturally aspirated red Volkswagen Up.
This here is a completely stock red Volkswagen Up. Performance-wise, it is totally stock. So we're going to check the power on this one. Then we're going to put on my white Up GTI and see how much power that one makes. Then we're going to do a tune and hopefully make some decent power. And when it's all done, we can work out a money to kilowatt ratio so you at home can ascertain whether it was all worth it or not. And if you think it wasn't worth it, you're wrong. Let's see how much power your new car makes. Let's go!
We've got our baseline stock figure That's 30 kilowatts at the hubs.
All right,
Oh, wow.
let's throw on the GTI and see what we get.
This is it, people. It's time to see what this little UP GTI can do. I've been a VW flog for a long time now, and I really hope it doesn't let me down. So many people who've helped with this build will be watching to see if it was all really worth it.
Here we go.
71 kilowatts and 158 newton meters.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, people. We're not messing around.
186 newton meters. We'll do a couple of runs and see what we can get out of it. Maybe get an extra kilowatt or two. $71, 196 newton meters. How's that? I think that's pretty much maxed out, mate.
Cool, that's it.
That's it.
So peak power, 71 kilowatts.
71 kilowatts, yep.
Let's throw a tune on
Done.
and see how we go.
See how much we can get out of it with a tune. That's what modifying cars are all about, mate. Keep it fun.
Losing money. Having fun and losing money.
Legit, that's what it is. Lose money, right?
We're loading the performance tune onto the ECU, which an MCM fan sent us from overseas. This is going to give us more power and more boost, and comes from the team at Revo in the UK.
We've loaded on our Revo tune, and there's a couple of different settings on there.
We have, there's 3 separate settings. So there's performance mode A, B and C.
Yep.
So A is your 95 RON, B is 98 and C is 99. And we're going straight to C.
Okay, great.
Because why not?
All right, let's see how we go.
See what happens. Look at that.
Got 93 kilowatts,
253 newton meters.
93 kilowatts at the wheels. 93 kilowatts.
We have tripled the factory power. Yes, that is right, triple. We're doing another run to check the numbers, and then we are done.
Gee, it comes on strong now, doesn't it?
That low down torque comes on real hard.
But we've added a solid 20 kilowatts at the wheels, which you could also get on like a Nissan Silvia by just starting a dump pipe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or you could spend years of your life
Building it up.
building the only UP GTI in the country.
Yep. What's better? What's more rewarding? That's the thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. That's the Nissan, right?
That's the Nissan, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, mate.
No worries, mate. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It is absolutely incredible, people. I haven't actually done the proper maths in my head, but I can tell you already that every minute and every cent was totally worth it. 93 kilowatts at the wheels, people, which is triple the factory power. But you know what, Martin? I reckon there's probably people sitting at home going, only 93 kilowatts.
Yeah, it's not just about power though, is it? It's about torque and it's about weight. And what this has on its side is no weight. It's so light.
Yeah, it's like 800 and something kilos.
It's under a ton. So to put that in perspective, like let's look at a modified WRX or a Golf GTI, like stock, maybe 120 kilowatts. I mean, my Eruowerke was like 70 something and that weighs 1.6 tons. This would absolutely leave it for dead. And that's like a turbocharged modern 1.6 litre thing.
Yeah.
It'd probably even be quicker than the 2 litre stock for stock. It's pretty impressive, man.
It's pretty amazing. And I think part of that obviously is the direct injection, but it's also, it is just about power to weight. And if you look at that, if you kind of do the maths on it, it's making equivalent power to like a modified WRX or something like that, which is really fun in a little car.
And if you've never driven a little light car, that's an experience in itself. Not having to shift all that weight around, just having it really chuckable, lots of grip, and not have all the weight on you, it's really fun. It's really, really fun.
It was an absolutely huge job. It was meant to be kind of just a weekend swap. I had no idea what was in store for me and just how complicated it was. So I do want to say a massive thank you to everybody that helped out. Lots of different people came and helped out along the way, from Aaron to Sam the mechanic, Dave with wiring. I want to do a special shout out also to Myles, because Myles put a lot of time helping out, and all sorts of friends and lots of Marty's mates as well came down as well. The Breakers over in the UK, Statler as well that got me the stuff, Volkswagen over here that was helping me get things. There's so many people to thank, and if you want to go and watch through the series, you'll see just how much time and effort went into it. But Martin, you were just saying, if you've never driven a little car, you should experience it. You have a chance to experience it, people, because to celebrate the completion of this, we have this Volkswagen Up for you. It's ready to go. You grab yourself a Get Up pack from the Mighty Car Mod shop, which means you're getting merch anyway. What we're not really into is just like paying money and you might get a chance of winning something. We want to make sure you get merch anyway, and then one of you in Australia will end up with this car. We'll ship it to you anywhere in the world.
So cool.
And again, if you're overseas, we got a one-off signed piece of merch for you, plus $500 worth of Mighty Car Mods merchandise. So
what a cool series, what a cool car, what a cool result. Well done, mate. That
Thank
was
you, Martin.
months. I know it was supposed to be a week or two. Months.
Years.
And I know it's supposed to be a week or two because we've had this for a while.
I know. It's been a very, very long time. The thing is, when I see like two-door ups come up, because they're reasonably like rare, when I heard about this one and I saw it, I was just like, it's got little Bilsteins on it, mad little wheels, this cool little like OEM thing. I was just like, we have to get this and we have to give it to someone.
You've got an instruction manual of how to convert yours to GTI spec. It'll only take you 9 months.
Yeah, and will probably cost you maybe $30,000 plus the car plus some bits. It's probably like a $40,000 exercise.
Big job.
Maybe more, maybe 50. It was all worth it. It was all worth it for the learning and the education. That's kind of what a uni degree costs. You know what I mean? And it's like, so I was kind of...
don't know.
And now there's a whole bunch of information that we don't need anymore.
Thank you for
Just
watching.
like a lot of university degrees.
Hope you enjoyed it. Volkswagen Up. No more up puns, people. But coming up... No, just kidding.
You know what's coming up though, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
You know, do you know what's happening? Do you know why this car's been tuned? Do you know why it's been preparing for battle? Do you?
You will soon.
You will soon.